So with our first Premier League clash in a friendly coming as a 3-1 defeat to Everton, there's one big question that I want to ask, and that's where is the creativity going to come from in this Newcastle side in order to get goals? Has Jaissle got the tools at his disposal in this squad, or do we need to act fast and bring in a number 10 and a right winger? Like I say, with only 10 days to go until our opening game against Liverpool, is this crisis mode for Newcastle, or is this just time to bed in for the manager? If you're new around here, get down there, like, hype, subscribe. This is Two for Joy. I'm Adam. Make sure you hit me up in the comments and give me your opinion. And otherwise, let's get into it. So first off, I want to apologise for yesterday's video with me making some mistakes. Obviously, Alex Murphy going to Kaiserslautern and Matthias Jaissle managing RB Salzburg, not RB Leipzig. But the way I was heading was that Amar Dedic played under Matthias Jaissle at Salzburg. And RB Leipzig, part of the Red Bull group that he knows all too well, are trying to offload players. But let's talk about the Newcastle game. 3-1 to Everton. A bright first 15 minutes in my opinion. We looked dangerous, we pressed well. We looked to drop off after conceding, and we looked tired towards the end of the first half. And where I want to go with this is just a quick scan through the players and give you my opinion on this starting 11 that we put out, because I felt Lucas Hornacek actually did himself justice today with an excellent couple of saves. He looked to command his area. He looked very good with his feet. And I'll be honest, he looks to suit Jaissle's system. Lewis Hall, I thought, had a decent first half. Obviously, his first game back, he needs to get minutes in his legs. But I generally thought he looked fairly comfortable. And I give big credit to probably only 3 players in today's 20 that played. Leo Shahar, for me, really impressed. I was really impressed with him taking the mantle this time in the right back position. I thought he was positive going forward. I thought he got involved in the press. I thought he looked well suited to Jaissle's style of play. And I'll give big credit to this young man. Coming into a side, it's not easy. It's been an unsettled pre-season. And then obviously moving on, Malik Chow and Sven Botman. Malik Chow, I thought, had an okay game. Sven Botman still looks slightly off it. Obviously, he made the mistake for the first goal for Tino Barry to get in behind. And I thought Lewis Hall tracked back really well and made 2 incredible tackles in order to keep us in there. And then between the two, Sven Botman and Malik Chow, just neither of them picked up Tino Barry as that ball comes back out. And it's an easy finish. But moving into the midfield, Joel Linton doesn't seem himself at the moment. He looks frustrated. He seemed comfortable holding the ball as an 8, but not comfortable holding the ball as a 6. And I feel that this really highlights that he's not this defensive midfielder. He's not the player that can come in and hold the ball in that area in the same way that Sandro or Bruno would have done. And I don't really feel that the double pivot role suits him. And then moving on to Aladji Bamba. And I'm going to reserve judgment on Aladji Bamba because I don't want to kill a young player's career so early. But he doesn't quite look ready for the Premier League start. I think give him 3 to 6 months to adapt to the style of the play, adapt to the league. And I think initially he's probably going to be better off coming off the bench. And he needs time to understand Jaissle's system before we move forward. But in the first half, I wanted to move forward looking at Anthony Elanga, and after that knock in the last game, which looked terrible, I thought it was good to see him fit again, but he didn't look as dangerous as he did against Valencia. He wasn't getting in behind enough. He was quite quiet in the final third, and I really feel that he needs to up his game in that final third if he wants to take the mantle as Newcastle's right winger. But the other side, Bazamana Toure, and standout player for me. He looks really sharp. He looks ready to start. He was excellent pressing. He was excellent getting in behind. I love the little nutmeg on Patterson. he was causing problems down the left-hand side and running to the byline and getting decent crosses into the area. The problem is this striker and number 10, or as I feel it is, striker and a false 9, because realistically Wissa is not a 10 playing in behind Asula, and I think this is the option that Jaissle's looking at, is the fact that neither Johan Wissa nor Nick Voltemade really have the energy to press in the way that Will Asula does. But Will Asula doesn't have the technical ability to control the ball as well and finish as well as either Voltemade or Wissa. It's something that I feel will need to be adapted over time. It's something that Jaissle has to come to terms with and find the best way of getting that front line to operate in the right way. But in the first half, two really encouraging performances, in my opinion, from Leo Shahar and Basamana Toure. And in the second half, while we looked fairly stale, even bringing in a completely new 10 outfield players, I want to give props again to two in the second half. And it has to be Steur in centre midfield. I think this kid reads the game so well, years beyond his age. I think, in my opinion, having Steur on the pitch at the same time as Basamana Toure and probably Wissa up front is probably going to be our best option, or even Basamana Toure, Steur and Voltemade being up front. But I really feel we're lacking in this 10 space. We need a creative midfielder. We need someone that we can fizz the ball into in that 10 space, that gap, the half gap between midfield and defence, and allow somebody to be creative. And realistically, in the second half, the other player I want to give big credit to is Henry Johnson. I thought this kid, again, looks fantastic. For 18 years old, to be coming into this team, getting a 45 minutes, and I didn't feel he really put a foot wrong. I feel like he is a player that is definitely going to be a choice for Jaissle off the bench. He's going to be a player that gets developed, and he may be the Fabian Schär replacement to come. He definitely needs time. He needs time to adapt. He needs time to get used to the Premier League. He needs time to get used to playing first team football. But realistically, a really exciting young talent. And I don't feel that really many of the young players really did themselves an injustice tonight. The one who, for me, who looked probably the furthest from it was Aladji Bamba, considering we've just brought him in. But like I say, I think he needs time to adjust to the Premier League, the physicality, and probably the fitness levels. He just didn't look fit enough for me. But the front line in the second half, I really felt let us down. And I felt that Jacob Ramsey and Joe Willock looked fairly stale, both sitting in the 8 role and leaving Sean Steur sat as a 6. I felt that Harvey Barnes and Jacob Murphy never really got that much into it. They didn't press the fullbacks. They didn't really offer anything apart from the goal, which again, fantastic piece of play started from Sean Steur playing that through ball into the half space. And then Nick Voltemade, who I felt really sorry for in this game. And I know a lot of people will pick him out and say he's just not performing well. But in that first half, when we pressed from the front, we pressed with Wissa, Asula, Elanga and Toure. In that second half, when we pressed from the front, it was Nick Voltemade alone. And I didn't see any press come from Joe Willock or Jacob Ramsey in behind. I didn't see press really, not with conviction, from Jacob Murphy or Harvey Barnes. I really feel like there's a disparity between these two, the first half and the second half sides, where we need a mix of both of these. I still feel this game was Matthias Jaissle giving players minutes and seeing who fits with who and what combinations work. And we're running out of time with only 2 games, 2 more pre-season friendlies to go in one weekend, obviously. And these players, I imagine, are going to get a full 90 minutes each. But most of all, Newcastle need to look at this window now and say, what are we bringing in? Because obviously, we do look like we need to bring in some defensive cover. We do look like we need a holding midfielder, someone with some experience. And we definitely look like we, most of all, need a 10. We need a 10 and a right winger. I really don't want to see another season of Jacob Murphy. I really don't want to see another season of Nick Voltemade being played in the 10 role or Wissa being played in the 10 role and not being able to use probably their best features as finishers. So, like I say, let me know in the comments what you think. It's an interesting topic. There is some news around Newcastle looking to bring in a new scout. I'll pop it up here. It's Ben Jacobs. Realistically, or I'll pop it up here. Realistically, Ben Jacobs, you can never really know what's true and what's not. But what I would say is try not to be too downhearted. This is the whole point of pre-season. If you were to go and watch Arsenal, they've lost. If you're going to watch Liverpool, they've lost. Most of all, pre-season is about learning the systems, learning the patterns. And with Jaissle only having a week to prepare this Newcastle team into his new system, I don't think we should be crying out for crisis just yet. We just need to get some players through the door, some experience and some technical quality into this side to settle us down before the season starts. Either way, thanks for watching. Thanks for getting involved. Make sure you hit the sub button. We're only 250 away from our 4,000 mark. Thanks to everybody for getting involved. And hopefully, guys, I will see you in the next one.